Hi again, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Three Bridges. So this is part of my what I'm calling Mind the Gap series, where I'm developing Uxbridge Station as part of my underground part of the layout. If you've watched any of the previous ones, you'll know the whole layout is sort of based on experiences from my life, and this one is from a period of my life for about 7 years when I was living in and around Uxbridge in my late teens, early 20s, and so I wanted to build a much larger, grander Uxbridge station as it's also sort of my main underground hub. So I don't have a fiddle yard on my layout, so all my rolling stock has to go somewhere, and so I needed somewhere to sit a load of underground trains. So I thought I'd show you what I've been up to. Okay, so starting at the entrance, so you'll have seen this from the earlier clips if you've watched them. So where I build the front part of the station in cardboard and perspex and sort of scratch build it up. Before I get into the build updates, I'll just take you back to what I'm trying to do. So if you'd seen one of the earlier episodes, I've got this Uxbridge station where it's basically going to be on 3 levels. So I'm going to have tracks on the 3 levels, and then also some central tracks in the middle, which will pass through the station. And so I suppose the bit that's sort of similar to Uxbridge, and also there's a station called Cockfosters in London, and they have the same platform structure. They took the same design for both, although the front of Cockfosters is very different. So the Uxbridge roof line, and with the sort of shuttered reinforced concrete pillars that you see down as you look on the side, will only be on the top deck, and then the below deck I'm going to be using cardboard tubes and threaded bar to basically support the whole station structure. So with the top layer I can get away with scratch building the roof in cardboard and all the supports in cardboard, because there's no actual physical strength that they need to support. But obviously below it's a bit like a helix, I suppose, in the fact that you've got 2 upper levels and everything needs to be rigid and secure. So I'm going to, in this episode, I'll take you through how I'm building the lower level, so and level 1, and using the thread bar and the cardboard tubes. So they come from dog poo bag rolls. I've got loads of them now, and I'll build it up to, so literally to, you've got the roof of level 1, floor of level 2. But I'll probably try and also start on a little bit of the scenics for the bottom level. I just wanted to try and see if I'm getting the right feel for the station, and I'm quite happy with the way it looks. Well, it's the next day, the ballast's dried, and really happy about how it's looking. So my only other go at ballasting was when I was doing Wendover, and it was just, I put far too much down. I was never really happy with the final look, and it sort of put me off doing more. So yeah, this is looking better. I'm much more pleased with this. Obviously in these areas I'm gonna shrub it up a bit away from the tracks. There was loads of buddleia when I was a teenager all over the railway, and Uxbridge was no different. Just so what I've been using, so I ended up making my own ballast. Some of the products they're nice, but just as I said before, I'm trying to cut costs on the stuff that isn't anything to do with track, electrics or trains. So all my scenicking and scratch building, just looking for alternative ways. So this area I've got like I suppose the medium mix, I suppose is equivalent to, it'd be the HO grade. So what I use is a mix of, it's like I think it's 2/3 of the sand and 1/3 of this sort of, it's road scrapings. I'll show you in a later date how I'd actually make it, but it's just, you get it. And then the sand, so I'm basically sieving out the sand, so I've got the coarser stuff, and then I have a finer sand, and then again I get a very much finer road scraping, so it's more like a N scale ballast that you can get. And then for the final one I've used that around the tracks so that it just sort of sits better in between the sleepers. Okay, so that's worked. What I'll move on to next is just to do the rest of the tracks on the lower deck between the platforms. I'm happy with the progress I've made. So I wanted to get to a point where I could take this back indoors. I've done all the messy stuff out here, and I can sort of carry on doing the scratch build of the lower level of the station. And I've sort of done this was a test section just to see if I can make the platforms with the columns going through them and sort of a background. Obviously my view is going to be quite limited. We'll see the next deck up, so it's literally going to be sort of this view in. So I will move back indoors with this section, and I can get the next large section up in the loft back down, so I can start carry on working on the main Chiltern line and the underground line from the other videos I keep showing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for your support and watching. Do appreciate it, and hopefully catch up with you in a few weeks time when hopefully I've finished all the lower level.